What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for a special review. You see, it's all themed out. You see my Brody here because we're here to talk about season 5 of Cobra Kai returning. To me personally, returning back early September 9th.
Yeah,
on Netflix because I was expecting this to drop around December, early to January. That's sort of been a pattern, but we're back early. I'm gonna give you my thoughts about why I think it came back early and so on. But I'm with my brother here, Clep of We Are Critics, Prep CX FM on YouTube and all social media. Clep, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to talk. I came out, festive. I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, it was a little early though. They did drop. Yeah,
it absolutely was. But spoiler-free review. That way you all can enjoy it in the same capacity that we did. 10 episodes, about 35 to about 40 minutes each. The same recipe as before. So if you've been rocking with Cobra Kai this entire time, you're already expecting this. Again, much to my surprise, it came back early, so good. But nonetheless, if you've been rocking with Cobra Kai this entire time, you're excited for it, and you should. It's definitely fun. I definitely have a lot of thoughts. But we're gonna first. I'm gonna tell you what's happening in this season, and it's very simple. It's very simple. Now that Silver is running Cobra Kai, my man is thinking global takeover, and we know how he is. He lives the glamorous life, and it wasn't just enough to win the All Valley. He's thinking bigger and better. Meanwhile, you have Johnny Lawrence, who is having some life changes, as well as trying to really bring his family together. And that, of course, is Miguel and Robbie, which the last time we see Miguel, we know Miguel jumped on a bus and was heading to find his father. And of course, Johnny feels very much responsible for this, and so he's going to go after him. And then obviously you have Daniel's son, who to me, I feel like his arc in this season is about the obsession of wanting to take down Cobra Kai and how that potentially can be detrimental to everything around him. His only livelihood, his family, and so on. So that's sort of the arc here. And notice how I haven't brought up the kids, because I actually feel like this is the first season that did not focus on the kids. This is really about the adults, and I want to talk about it more. But I want to throw it to you. I want to throw it to you, and let's hit the questions that everybody wants to ask first. Let's just start with the simple stuff. Your favorite character this season?
My favorite character never changes. As always, since episode 1, I've always been a fan of Hawk. Always.
Okay.
I've always been a fan of Hawk. I will never change. Hawk is always going to be my favorite character in this entire show. My least favorite has changed. My least favorite used to be Robbie. And then it changed. And I think right now, Kenny is my least favorite.
Dude. Yep. we're right there. I was not a fan of Kenny's arc at all in this season. Yeah. And I will say that my favorite, and I think my default, is Johnny Lawrence. Okay. But I also think that in the surprise in this season, I was really digging Silver. He was giving me Vince McMahon vibe. Everybody knows I'm a pro wrestling fan. And the fact of how he just was like, I don't care who I step on, what I set on fire, I'm going to get what I want and make my money. He was giving me true villain vibes that I will say that even in his presence, it felt different from Kreese, which I appreciated, because you want your villains to feel different, And I thought like everything he did this season was like must watch, must pay attention. He was the chess player playing with people who were playing checkers at times, and I loved how he was always 2 steps of everybody else in the season. Loved it.
What I appreciated about what they did with him is like, this to me is legit. This is a sequel to Karate Kid Part 3.
Yeah.
I felt like the other season was more of a sequel to part 2 because we had the whole Chosen interactions and he came in. But this one, legit, because I felt like we saw the influence that Silver had in part 3, but we didn't really get to see. Yeah. And in this one, he really gets to flex. We really get to see what kind of power he really has, what kind of influence he really has. And just we learn more. They even give us a little bit of backstory and stuff. Like I feel like this is Terry Silver's his time to shine, and he does it throughout this entire season, like nonstop.
And you brought it up. My honorable mention is Chosen, who also mirrors a lot of what you're saying. We got a little bit of backstory to him as well too, and he certainly. Not only the character, but I think the actor also got to kind of unleash a little bit. We got a comedic side to it. I thought his stunt choreography was really good. And then the character art just really pushed things forward. So like, right with you on that. And I love the fact that the creators of this show really understands this universe, knowing how to tie things together, knowing how to appease people who are Karate Kids fans, knowing how to appease people who are Cobra Kai fans. And then the special wild card in this season, I have to say, and this is like truly not going to spoil at all. I love the fact that they truly did tip the hat to anybody who is just a combat sports fan, period. Like, there were some very nice cameos in this. Very nice. Respected cameos too.
I like, and it was a little bit of a hit or miss for me. I felt like, because I don't want to just jump right into the things that I didn't like, but like a hit or miss for me was, I feel like there's not too many, but there's a lot of characters. And there's a lot of overflow happening. Like, there's so many people coming in that it's like, how are they going to keep this momentum going forth? Like, because there's just so many characters to focus on. And like you said, like this time around, we barely got to focus on the kids. This was like all about, the bitter rivalry between the grown-ups and the adults. And now it's like, where are they going to go now? Because I just feel like there's a lot of different characters coming in now. Yeah. That then by the time we get to like season 6 or 7, how are they gonna keep this contained? Is where I'm at right now. Like it's just too many people. Too many.
I don't think the expansion is problematic, but I do think that we won't have arcs and characters of interest get the focus they should. Like there's a particular character this season, and I'm trying to think, should I even spoil it? It's not a spoiler, but I'm just trying to think if I mention it, is it a spoiler? Okay, no, it's not a spoiler. I don't think so. But when you think about Kenny's story arc this season, and you think how that kind of developed based on last season, with what's the other son name?
That's you're talking about
the younger LaRusso folks.
Sam's brother. I mean, Sam. What was his name? It's like because he's like so in and out so much that I can't even think of what his name is. Right. And I watched this show and I love this show and I can't think of his name right away. But like I'm going to say this, like, and it's by their fault. I think they introduced him last season and thinking that this season. First of all, I thought last season we were going to get some more. And then this season, I'm like, oh, for sure, they're going to like develop him into something of interest. And he wasn't. And I think that like, that's where you start to say like, oh, we're getting so many different characters. We're not going to have a focus. But anyway, let's go this route here. Yeah. Let's go head on. What worked and what didn't work. Like I said, for me, it was like, cause there was a couple of not plot holes, but there were a lot of things that were introduced last season that they didn't even touch on this season. And I for sure thought that it was going to be like a thing that's hanging over somebody's head. And without spoilers, I'm going to say the character that we're talking about, but I'm not going to say what it is. And we're talking about Kenny. There were things revealed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a big shot. It was like a wow. Okay, something's about to go down, and nah, nothing went down. So that, and then the fact that you're talking about the other LaRusso kid, like, I really feel like those are missed opportunities. But then again, these guys, like, they know how to build these characters. So the same way they built Kenny up, we might be dealing with the other LaRusso, like, in the future. Like, maybe he's doing more training. Maybe he's going to be badass by the time we get to his arc. Because at the end of the day, he's now, the bully situation's been reversed, so, and we got a little bit of that last season, so that's not much of a spoiler, but you know what I mean? I think that there might be something in the future for him, but this season for me, it's good because of, the way they know how to do the team ups, the way they know how to, the fight sequences are dope in this, as always. But development wise, story wise, I wasn't impressed this season.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, I felt like the production was better. I felt like instantly, I felt like the production just moved the needle forward. It's not a drastic increase, but it's definitely noticeable for me in some of the aspects of it. There's certain aspects of the CGI that's still very much there. Anytime they're in the car, that's definitely green screen. Believe that. Also the younger LaRusso, Anthony is his name. But what really did not work for me is how they introduced inclusiveness in last season in terms of how they wanted to handle the All Valley. Yeah. And you mean to tell me with all of that, and I thought it was done well. They say, listen, we're gonna have a boys division, we'll have a girl division. Yeah. First time ever. Loved it. Yeah. Yeah. And so what? The Miyagi-Do, y'all not gonna recruit any other women? So let me tell you why this is problematic. And because it's not nitpicking. Because when you think about the major fights that's going to happen with Cobra Kai and Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do, you're like, okay, cool. So on one side, you're going to have Tori. Yep. And you're going to have Lee and other ones. All those other folks that's on that side, right? Yeah. Or potentially, because Lee's in another gym and Tori's in another gym, but you see women and girls all over the side, and then you're like, oh, well, Miyagi-Do, well, I guess everyone's facing Sam. And the issue, the issue with it, it's like when you go into the storyline and the build in some of the elements of this season where you have to say who's going to be the best fighter in certain situations. Yeah, it's like it's by default Sam. I did not like that. I really did not like that.
And it makes it a little bit predictable because it's like, okay, you guys, like I said, there's so many main characters that they don't even have room to bring in extras to just get their asses kicked. It's just too many. Like when you look at that roster, even especially like in that face off that happens, when you're looking at, it's like there are so many main characters. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, I'm with you. I totally agree. Like, there's just no way to squeeze other characters in, even just to spar or just to give us a montage like the first Karate Kid when he's in the tournament. Like, we didn't even see any of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's always gonna be. And now we got. I don't want to say anything because that's a spoiler. But Sam is always gonna be the front runner on one side. And it's very predictable that, and it's kind of getting like that with the boys too. Although there was a little twist because I didn't know.
Well, I mean, no, because when you look at the boys, I think it's totally different. And I feel like when you look at, especially in this season, allegiances change, but we do know who our main. We know who our top fighters are, and then there's going to be other folks who become top fighters. So like. The boys is a toss-up. You never know what the matchup may be. Just like in the All Valley tournament in season 4, you didn't know who that final was going to be, because that ending of that was completely. We all knew Miguel. I'm sorry. We all predicted Miguel and Robbie, but then we got something totally different, and the victor in a way that I didn't see coming.
So
I'm just saying.
So for this one, you didn't see them picking who they picked?
I still think it's I still think it's unpredictable, because you just don't know. You just don't know. I know what you're getting at, and I think the decisions made were right, but I still think, at least because you have options, you can start anybody. But for the women, it's like it's literally only Sam. It's always Sam.
You're right.
So like when the stakes are built and you're just like, all right, we need the best from this dojo and the best from this dojo, you're like, all right, so regardless of Sam's conflict in life, regardless of karate, and listen, here's another theme of this season. It is life outside of karate, because everything else has been fought through combat. And this, we see a lot of people trying to resolve things in their life outside of that.
Yeah, and they're trying to get on with their lives, and I like that aspect of this season.
Exactly. But then again, like, so take that what it is. But then when it comes back to the fight, and you're just like, all right, cool. The guys versus the guys of this dojo, and then you're like, well, whoever it is from that dojo, and definitely Sam from there, and it just makes that aspect so predictable that, like, it just, I don't know, man. I just, that was just my gripe with it. But let's go to the next thing. Favorite episode this season.
Oh man, I'm literally gonna have to go with the finale.
Okay.
Because, like, as I'm watching this season, it gets me on edge, because you just never know what's gonna happen. I mean, they friggin' broke Dimitri's arm last season, or was it last season? Yeah, it was last season. Like, those kind of things. Like, I always worry that something bad is gonna happen to one of these kids, and I feel like sooner or later we're gonna get one of those dramatic losses in the future. That's literally the only thing that they can do, short of, putting somebody out of commission forever. But it always keeps me, I'm always on my edge, like, what's gonna happen? But as I was going through it, I was like, every time each episode ended, I'm like, all right, well, it didn't really go anywhere yet. It didn't go anywhere yet. But when that Terry Silver stuff starts coming in, and then that final, like, he gets to his last straw. He's just like, listen, Danny boy, like, we get that old Terry Silver. when that last episode was happening, like, even the cliffhanger in 9, I was like, wait, what? Hold on. So it was the last episode had me like hype. Just hype.
Yeah.
Hype. I love the ride, and I don't know what I feel about that resolution, how it ends, but I loved every minute of that last episode. Every minute. It was the only episode where I wasn't on the fence about anything. I was like, this was dope. This was dope.
Yeah, and I tell you what, mine was episode 5. There was a really epic fight between two characters that really needed to get it off their chest. And I love the choreography of it, and it really did set things going forward. And I think it set things going forward in the
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it set things going forward in a way that we all hoped potentially, but I like how it was handled. I like it in terms of honor, in terms of code. I think there's a lot of reasons why I like how they handled that, and it really made things interesting.
I wonder how the parents are gonna. I wonder how the moms are gonna take that. It is. That is a dope moment. Like, and it builds too. Like, you're like, by the time it happens, you're like, finally.
Yeah.
But it definitely is a dope moment.
Yeah. So a couple other things so we get out of here real quick. Just a couple of notes I wanted to say is that Cobra Kai, and they're looking to expand the Cobra Kai dojo. I mean, this stuff is in the trailer. It's definitely fire. And Silver's plan is really about the expansion of Cobra Kai and the legacy of Cobra Kai. And he says, like, listen, he wants Cobra Kai and karate to be synonymous like Starbucks and coffee. So this is the scale of where he's going with things. And like I said, I thought Terry really channeled his inner Vince McMahon. So like, he's coming out true villain, true, just that unlikable rich suit person who makes the decisions no one would favor, but he will bring in the money by any means necessary, will step on anybody, cross everybody 2 steps ahead, and will burn anything down in his path. So I really loved how it was handled. And beyond that, you're going to have the OG Karate Kid moments. You're going to have cameos. You're going to have callbacks. You're going to have callbacks to previous seasons as well, too. That's how far we are in the season, where you just don't only have to, in a series, how you just don't have to go back to Karate Kid. You can actually make callbacks to earlier seasons, which you have a really solid moment of a previous season callback. And I will say that it is between Daniel's son and Johnny Boy. Like, they have a moment that is literally duality of another time that they met that I thought was really cool. You will have people appear from the past, and when I say from the past, yes, from Karate Kid. They love to throw in some OG casting. You will have somebody who comes back who once tried to kill Daniel's son. So you will see that. As I said, there's some life-changing events happening in this season. And then, like I said earlier, you have some cameos of characters from this franchise, as well as notable fighters. I was extremely happy to see a couple of different folks who you thought was just props in the back until they got to do what they do best. The trailer also did announce that Alicia Hannah Kim has been casted as Sensei Kim, who really gets down and dirty.
She was scary. She was scary.
I did mention episode 5 was my favorite. I should note that there is a funny moment of Billie Eilish and Billy Idol in that episode.
Listen, Johnny's hilarious, bro.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's always out of touch, so he's going to do something and say something silly. For my wrestling fans, Chris Jericho, whose band is Fozzy, whose song is Judas, gets a play in this, so listen out for that. But like I said, I thought this season truly did focus a lot on the adults over the kids. It does all come together very much at the end. They always tell a good story, but I will say for my last thing is that the last previous season, I felt like the cliffhangers were much more leaving you at the edge of your seat. But this one I was kind of like, okay, well, we'll see when the next season comes. Now, to my point I said about this coming back early, I felt like they might have filmed the last 2 seasons together, because there's no aging between our cast members. They look, I look back quickly at season 4, and no one looks older. But there was a big difference between season 3 and season 4. So maybe that was something that they wanted to do. They had it in the can.
They were doing it during COVID, right? Yeah.
They had it in the can, and they say, listen, pull the trigger, get it out early.
Yeah. And
here we are, because Cobra Kai usually comes out around late December, early January. So there's that.
Yeah. But I gotta just say that I did love that callback to the old Karate Kid, that cameo. It was jaw-dropping for me, because I did not see it coming.
Yeah. And there's some good ones, folks. There's definitely some good ones. So, but folks, check out Cobra Kai season 5. September 9th on Netflix. 10 episodes, as I said, about 30 to 40 minutes each. It's the same recipe, folks, but it just continues to get better and better. I will say it's not my favorite season, but I certainly had a good time with it, and I still want more. So keep giving us more, keep supporting it, and hopefully we ride this out to at least season 10.
They got enough. They can do it. They got to bring back Julie, man.
But folks, thank you so much for checking out this review, and we'll see you back for more reviews very soon.